I am Mikaël 2025 World Coffee Roasting Champion. So today we'll be roasting the Ethiopian coffee on the W15E using the profiler from Giesen roasting solution. We'll keep it light and bright to keep the acidity and to use it for filter coffee mainly. So using the W15E with 10 kg of green coffee, we will be targeting a yellow point of around 4 minutes 30, 4 to 4 minutes 30, Maillard phase of around 2 minutes 30 to keep the acidity of this coffee, and a development time at around 1 to 1:15 minutes. So this is 10 kilos of Ethiopian beans from the Giesen region. Turning off the power, so that the roaster would be cooling down a bit to the bottoming temperature of 180 degrees Celsius. So now you can see both air curve and bean curves are going down. So the roasting is cooling down. So we will be charging this coffee at the temperature of 190 degrees. At the bottoming temperature of 190, we'll be putting a bit more of power to start increasing the temperature of the roaster. And then at around 187, while the temperature is increasing, we will charge the coffee in. So now 190 here. So we put 50% as our charging value. So now you can see the roaster is increasing the power. So power line of the profiler is here. You can see all the information of the roaster here and all the reading on the top part of the chart. And now 190 is on charge the bean inside the drum. So we will soak the coffee in for a good minute, and a good minute, at a 1 minute, we will increase the power to 90%. This will help to create pressure inside the bean, to get rid of most of the moisture inside the bean, and also create pressure to lead to the first crack later on during the process. Got 1 minute, 90%. So this coffee is from Ethiopia, Giesen region. It's a wash process. We will keep the floralness and the brightness and the acidity profile to get something much more for filter coffee, or a light roasted espresso. To keep the acidity, to keep the floral notes, we will roast it light, like at around 205 degrees, so 5 degrees after first crack, and a good minute of development time. So here on the profiler, you can see that there is a curve predicting where the bean temperature will go. So this will go, and this will lead to almost 4 minutes drying, because on this machine we are yellowing at 160 degrees. That means we are going pretty fast right now. We can decrease the power by 10%. So coffee is almost yellow. We can check here on the probe. Yeah. Here you really need to see the inside of each bean. That needs to be really yellow, otherwise it's still green, and yellow points must be marked where the whole bean is yellow. So this is here, like now. So we can mark it yellow, 164 degrees. And at that point, we will keep the power going down to keep that linear decreasing rate of rise. So for this profile, we will keep the Maillard phase in between 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes, so we can keep the floralness and the bright acidity of this tasting profile. So we will be decreasing the power again and again. And if you see a building of chaff inside the drum, you can here increase the pressure to get rid of the chaff into the chaff collector. So here we're increasing from 110 PA to 120 PA. You can decrease the power again to 30% to arrive slowly but surely to the first crack. So here we have a 6.5 degree per 30-second rate of rise, which is great because we'll be developing our coffee high enough in a shorter development time. And we are now arriving to first crack. Okay, so now the coffee is cracking. We can mark it right now. So you can see over here, the Maillard phase was 2 minutes 30. We can increase this pressure to 130 to prevent a rise of the rate of rise at some point and decrease the power so we can go slow after first crack. So we don't want to caramelize this coffee much to keep the acidity profile and floral notes again. So we now cut the gas off or to 10%. And now up. Checking the color to the trigger, and we are good to go. So we can turn on pudding fan and stirrer right here. You can finish the roast right now. On the profiler at the end of the roast, you can type any kind of information. So the bean you used, the name of the profile you want to mark, the amount of green coffee you used, and after the roast and after you discharge the cooling tray, you can mark the amount of roasted coffee you got. So it calculates automatically the weight loss of your coffee. And you can also mark all the information you want, like cupping notes and color measurements on the profiler too. So here we can have a look of one bean, for example, and if you crack it open, you can smell, and it has some apricot notes, some floral notes already. And you can see the inside of the bean, which is well developed from the side part to the middle part. You can see all the color, which is quite equal all along the bean, and you can see that's a well-roasted bean. All right, so here we just finished to edit our profile with all the triggers and everything. And now we have just launched another roast with all the automated profile. So we won't touch anything. The gas and the power will change automatically, as well as the airflow and the drum RPM if we have changed anything. And we will have the cooling tray and the stirrer that will be automated on at the end of the roast. So we would just have to open the door to finish the roast. This filter roast will highlight all the acidity, florality, and sweetness of this washed Ethiopian coffee. Thanks for watching. Enjoyed this video? Subscribe and follow us on our socials to follow up with more videos like this one.